Hello all, Stacy the Blackfeather Intuitive, and welcome to Divinely Decked Tarot and Oracle Reviews done Stacy style. And today it is another blind deck day, and I'm so excited to introduce you to our couple for today that is going on the blind date. And for this segment and for the next segment, I have basically done very little thought and just kind of did like a random, I'm going to pick this deck from the tarot shelf and this deck from the oracle shelf, and let's see what happens. So without further ado, let's see what is coming up and if this is going to be a very fun date. Are they going to make it through the first drink? Okay, so we have the Calandra Tarot by Michael Calandra, and we have the Empath's Oracle from Raven Digitalis, art by Constantine Bucks. And admittedly, this is an oracle deck that doesn't get a whole lot of love or FaceTime from me. And I feel like that was kind of one of the reasons why I really was excited to do this as a blind deck date today, because I was like, wow, I don't even remember a whole lot about what this deck looks like. So let's do first impressions and see if they're going to like each other or not, based on the visuals, and get a sense of the energies of these two card decks. All right. So at first glance, I'm liking the color combinations, even though they are slightly different palettes and clearly a different style. I feel like there's definitely some synergy here. The Oracle deck is a standard Oracle, so it's a little bit larger, a little bit bigger than the Tarot, but the Tarot is definitely holding its own. The imagery is very different. So this I feel is very kind of linear up and down, and then we've got that spiral in the center, the roots spiraling together. This feels like kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different imageries. We have birds. I believe we have a couple of hummingbirds in here. Feels like there are maybe some different vases. There are some swirling bubbles. We have pyramids and like I want to say like a little bit of sacred geometry going on here. So I would say the design isn't they don't have that in common, but the colors blend, and so there's a harmony and a synergy to the two of them coming together. Okay, and let's see where that sort of takes us. Let's spread them out here. So I've got cat hair and dog hair, and it's an animal world here, animal house. Okay, and so this particular deck, the Calandra deck, has two extra cards. It has an as above and a so below card. So that's what we're looking at here. We have the so below with this beautiful sort of matte imagery. And here we have number 16, releasing emotional weight. And on first glance and blush, I like that these two figures are looking at one another. So I feel that there's an interest. You're both checking each other out. I feel that the colors are very complementary. We have the full body here, and we've got sort of just the head up, which says that maybe this one is a little more cautious. This deck is the thinker, a little bit more of the thinker, and this deck is a little more like, hey world, here I am. You know, take it or leave it. Take me or leave me. This is not a bordered deck, and this is a bordered deck. It's bordered in a beautiful silver, so it has a little bit of a sheen to it. Here we are looking at the Queen of Cups, and we have number 11, cleansing mind, body, and spirit. So not a whole lot in terms of the design that is consistent, and yet I'm not mad at this pairing. There's something about it that brings a bit of harmony. It brings a bit of peace to it. So, you know, just on first blush, I definitely feel like these two decks have something in common. I feel that there's a spark. Page of Cups here and seeking healing water. Well, there's definitely connection there in terms of the messaging. I also like that she's holding a cup. She's got the wave behind her. And here we have this beautiful water that is waving up into color. So we've got the color that is kind of growing out of the water and the wave energy. So definitely a consistency in the flow of the imagery. Let's take a look at a couple more here. Seven of Swords, establishing emotional boundaries. Isn't that interesting? So it's a card of integrity and boundaries here. And the tent has a, clearly there are poles that are delineating the doors, the opening to the tent. And we have emotional boundaries where there is a solid line that is going through one half of the picture versus the other half of the picture, showing one side versus the other. There's a dark side to this card and a lighter side to this card, a darker side to this card and a lighter side to this card. And so, they've got a little bit in common here. They're hitting common ground. I definitely feel like they're going to finish their first drink, which I like. Nine of Wands, questioning the darkest thoughts. This is a card of control and perseverance and really having to follow through with a plan. And I think it's really interesting that we have, they're looking together, they're looking towards one another, and she's questioning those dark thoughts, right? There's a question around that. And I feel like a person who might be dealing with issues of control can understand what it means to question those dark thoughts. And a person who questions their darkest thoughts can understand someone that perseveres through that journey. We'll do one more and then we'll start with our card prompts. Nine of Swords, mentalizing emotional impressions. Wow. The synergy between these two is very powerful. They're both facing in the same direction. They're both, the attention is on the head. The attention is on the thoughts, the mental energy. This is even mentalizing emotional impressions. And that's exactly what the Nine of Swords does, is it brings about anxiety. So you don't feel the truth or the false of the situation. You simply feel the anxiety of it, and it can shut you down. So that's really interesting. Okay. I love that. All right. So the date is still continuing, and this is a good thing. We like this. I'm just going to put these up over here. And now we are going to explore the spark. What unique chemistry emerges when these two deck voices blend? Well, this deck is like, I want to speak. Oh, and so does this one. Okay, so I'm going to say they're similar in that regard. So let's see what unique chemistry emerges. So we have the Two of Wands, direction. And 36, embracing sensuality is union. Loving this energy. I feel like this person, their head is tilting a little bit back, almost like leaning in for the kiss, or being kissed on the neck is kind of the energy that I'm feeling here. And I like it's embracing sensuality as union, because that very much is a wand energy. Wands is fire, the flame, the passion, the soul energy, the soul space. It's very action oriented. It's the fuel that we use to, go through our day, to go through our lives. And so, this person is looking for perhaps that deck energy that can complement it, that can speak its truth, can understand it and see it for all that it is and all that it brings to the table, and has a lot of that passion that they want to unlock, they want to unleash. So I feel like they're both feeling they've got a similar idea on what relationship might be, or what they're looking for in relationship. This one I feel is a little more open, and this one's got their back to it. So there may be a little bit of push-pull here going on. The clash, where might their personalities challenge each other or cause tension? Let's move that to the side. Ooh, interesting. So this deck is a little more of the romantic, the idealist, taking a vow. And this one is more on the serious side, like the guidance that's going to come through is going to say, listen, no, I take my vows seriously. I take what it is that I'm giving to you seriously and you're being an idealist and maybe you're a little pie in the sky, I want you to know that this guidance came at a cost, or this guidance really matters. This is going to be the more, I want to say, the more serious deck. This is the deck that's going to try and not sugarcoat, but I want to say little bull in a china shop, and not really necessarily listening as much as they are talking, as much as they are wanting to be the primary. I want to say the primary guidance, to come through the alpha. So I feel that there definitely can be some clashing in terms of that. When we were talking about what is a unique spark that brings these two together, I do feel that there is sensuality and passion. They have to kind of get over their maybe there's a little shyness there, or this deck kind of listening needs to turn around and see what is available, needs to read the room in a lot of ways. But I feel that chemically, that chemistry wise, there's a lot that can happen here, but they have to open up to that. Hidden layers. What unexpected truth does one deck bring out in the other? Ooh, the Wheel of Fortune. That's interesting. Celebrate the world's diversity. So this deck, I feel, is encouraging the empath's oracle to be a little more in flow, to understand that not everything is going to be like taking a vow, not everything is going to work out exactly as planned. I feel like the Calandra Tarot understands that not everything is going to be sunshine and daisies, wine and roses. So it's going to be able to help this deck to, I want to say, be a little bit more flexible in the delivery of the information. And this deck, I feel, is going to encourage this one to think less narrowly, less in that tunnel vision way of being, almost like I said, the bull in the china shop. This one's going to say, no, let's just take a little more time to figure out who we want to invite to the party, right? Let's take a little more time to develop a sense of community between the two of us, because there are differences, but there are also a lot of similarities, and those similarities can be supported through, I want to say, community. So through the cards that are around us. I was just saying, the taking a vow, and the Wheel of Fortune says the Two of Wands. There's always going to be a little bit of a direction shift. It's okay for us to be open to that. So this is also a deck that is going to work really well, not necessarily just with two cards at a time, but really doing a spread, doing a layout. That's kind of cool. And future date potential. If these two card decks keep working together, what kind of guidance are they going to co-create? Ooh, oh yeah, no, that's the one. Interesting. So we have practicing daily spirituality and judgment. Oh my goodness, I love this. So I really enjoy this combination. Once again, the faces are looking the same way. There's a lot of hope here. Her eyes are open, but they're half open. Her eyes are closed. Again, I feel like this is the deck, the Oracle deck, when we're talking about that future date potential, is the one that's going to encourage a little bit of like, let's bring some sensuality to the mix. We can bring some seriousness to the energy, but we can think about these things. We can take time to get to know one another and to get more visceral, more tactile. And this deck, I feel, wants to think things through a little bit more, wants to be a little more well, they want to think through things, but the Calandra, I feel, also is a bit impulsive, wants to kind of take off like a shot. The Judgment card here, I feel like the Calandra is going to be definitely the alpha in this card combination. The Judgment card, I feel, is really about making decisions. So these two cards together, it's going to be by choice. There's going to be work that has to be done, right? understanding that yes, there's a place for idealism, but there's also a place for taking the vow and moving forward. Yes, there is more to life than just, living sort of by rote. Life is going to hand you different things, and you need to be able to say yes to it and be in that creative flow. And, celebrating what comes up can be part of that exchange. So I really feel like it's going to give you a beautiful daily spiritual practice, connection to that guidance that's coming through, and it's going to be a choice. I feel like it really is about choice to work together and to be willing to lean in and listen to the messages, and to not judge the choice from that expectation perspective, but to pass judgment in terms of saying yes to the experience, saying yes to the combination. Wow. Okay, guys. So that is our blind date deck, blind deck date. Sorry, first day with my new tongue. For the Empath's Oracle and the Calandra Tarot. So let me know what you guys think. I happen to actually really kind of like this combination. I think that there's definitely going to be another date. And I think this is going to be a combination that could definitely grow in, if nothing else, into a really great friendship, the kind of friendship where you can have healthy debate and a lot of acceptance of the other. So feel free to put those in the comments and let me know what you think about it. Until I see you for another segment of Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life, we will see you on the flip side, and transform well. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture Divining the VIP Life.